everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Karina and today we're doing a VR and we're doing 12 decks for 12 houses from Kyra Getchell. So I'm excited about this, but it was hard. It was hard to do for me because I have no clue of astrology and I don't have many decks and even less that I actually use. So normally for all the houses I use 1 or 2 decks. So it was kind of a challenge, which was nice to go through all my decks and find new ones that I can work with for each house. And I will definitely do that as well in the future. And it's kind of to reconnect with my decks as well. So this was a great opportunity. Thank you, Kyra, for putting my interest back on all the decks I have. And when I tell you I prepped for this, I'm not kidding. I made a full page in my journal. Here you can see. And also I made little stickers that I put on my decks, why I chose the deck, so that I don't have to write it all in my journal or in my YouTube journal. So let's get right into it. So as I said, I have no clue of astrology, so I did some research as well and I googled it, and I found a pretty good page for additional information to the one Kyra already gave us, and I will link it down below. Maybe it will help you too if you want to do this tag. So let's get started. The first deck is the House of Self, and as I said, if you see me looking down, that's because I have my notes here. So the deck is, what deck do you use to connect with self-identity issues? And it's the House of Self. So I thought, which deck would represent me the best? Because self-identity issues, I don't, that's a kind of shadow work thing or a communications thing, which we come to when we talk about the other houses. So I searched for the deck I feel the most identified with or would represent me the best, and I chose the Tarot of the Cat People because I'm a cat person and I desperately want to live in that world. So even though I don't use it much, it's kind of my favorite deck I own, and I use this all the time for flip through or communication. So I have conversations with it. Yeah, let me show you some cards. And I just love all these people. They just are perfect, and I love this deck so much. Look at the robes. Who wouldn't want to live there? And they have cats in every card, and it's based on a world. So it has its own world, let's say that, and a story behind it, and it's so amazing. And as I said, I don't use it much for readings, even if I'm in the mood to do so, but it's so nice to look at. And actually the cats are equal to the people in this story, and who wouldn't want a cat as a equal? And it's just so nice how it's depicted. Look at that, 10 of Pentacles. And I enjoy that that's all the cats that make them happy and not a family in this case. And legacy is given from the cat because she made the babies as well. Yeah, it's just so an awesome deck. And I could also have put this in the House of Joy because that's the deck I play the most with. And yeah, that's how I want to be. That's where I want to live, as I said. I'm just checking the notes here. Yeah. And it's also a grounded deck, which I need. And it feels just a place where I would fit in and belong to, and who wouldn't want that? So that's my first deck for the first house. It's the Tarot of the Cat People. So the next one is the House of Value, and Kyra said it's, what deck do you use to look at questions about personal resources? So personal resources are not only money but also energy and power and everything you need to function, basically. And so I chose, it might be a surprise, but I chose the Murder of Crows Tarot because of the crows, because they are resourceful and intelligent creatures. And that's why I chose this deck. So let me just put it that way. And what I love about this deck is also for this house to work with is it's also kind of shadowy, which I need because I'm not really using my resources well, and it's kind of unbalanced. So I need a deck who tells me, okay, get your stuff together and use your resources wisely. So I use them in excess mostly. No sleep, too much sleep, spending too much money, eating too much, eating too less, and it's always a struggle for me. So this is quite a great deck to actually tell me that I should get it together and work on that. Yeah, so it's quite not scary, but a little bit on the darker side, which I love. So this is my deck for personal resources, which surprised me as well, but I can't help it. It's just fitting in my case. And yeah, the world is relatable and accessible. I have to say it's not a great cardstock. It's card plasticky, and I can't riffle shuffle, but I think that's okay. And it just smells divine because I put some chamomile inside, which worked really well. So let me put it away. Okay. I'm struggling. And I dropped them. Why am I this way? Okay, anyway, I will clean up afterwards. I'm sure it's not the only deck I will drop. So the next house is House of Communication. And she asked, what deck do you use to work on personal communication issues? And for this, I picked the NRK Tarot because, as I said in my first video, I struggle sometimes with expressing myself and get my thoughts together and find a red thread or a red line to say what I want and kind of sort my thoughts out. So I need a deck that does this for me, which is a sharpshooter, gives me clear messages, but also feels soft. So it's an Rider-Waite based deck, as you can see, but it feels softer, and for me it says, okay, you got this, but this is the message. So I love this deck. It's really a great deck for communication issues. And also this is a deck I can use for every house as well. I love this one. Just an awesome deck. Yeah, that's for the communications issue. Let's see what my notes are for this. Easy read, yes. Sharpshooter. Yeah. It feels just comforting, even though my brain is a mess. And yeah, that's why I would need a deck that clears my mind and gives me quick answers. Okay, next one is a House of Home. This is house number 4. What deck do you use for root work, ancestry, and home life? And my deck for this is actually not that long in my collection. It's a Starseeker Tarot. And I did a walkthrough on it, and I was surprised how well it reads. And how the images spoke to me in the messages. So it's just comforting. Is it upside down? No. It's just comforting. It feels like a hug, which you want to have for a deck you use for home life, ancestry, and root work. But it's also deep, and that's also important. I really enjoy working with this deck. I had some really great readings with it as well, which I will show you when we go through my journal. So yeah, that's the Starseeker Tarot, and it's the one I would choose for the House of Home. It's soft, but also has this clear messages, and I can see myself working with it for a long time, also because the backs are just pretty. And as I said, I got this recently, but I already have a deep connection with it. Yeah, I love it very much. That's house number 4. And now we come to house number 5, which is the house of pleasure and joy. And Kyra said, or her prompt is, what deck do you use to explore joy? And she means kind of the childlike joy. And for me, that's the Raccoon Tarot. I was surprised by this decision because it's not an usual deck, and I don't use it much in readings, but it has just great artwork, and I love his art, Arthur Rackham's art. He did some fairy tales and stories which he illustrated, and these are the images from them. So it's not a tarot, or the art is not created for the tarot. The art was there before and they put it into a tarot deck. So sometimes it's a little bit hard to see the meaning. Just for example, in this Empress, it's not a great depiction, but you know, you get what they wanted to say. And what I do with this deck is I just flip through and pull some cards, and then I find the fairy tale or the story it is from and read it, and just remember how I loved them when I was a kid. And you know, I grew up in Germany, and of course we have all the Brothers Grimm fairy tales, and I just love them. So we have some really scary fairy tales as well, and the originals by the Brothers Grimm are quite dark and cruel actually, but my parents wouldn't read them to me, but we had other ones that were pretty scary as well. So when I was older, I bought the original ones, and it's just so scary to read, but I guess it was a way to get the kids in line and get them to behave. Okay, sorry for this. I had to stop filming for a moment because my mom called me. Yeah, it's the Rackham Tarot, and this is my favorite image of the deck. It's a woman shushing the parrot because in the guidebook it says visitors are at the door and she wants to spend her time alone, and that's the 9 of Pentacles. It says spend time alone, or you can spend time alone and don't feel guilty about it. So I just love this image. This could be me as well. Yeah, so they are awesome. So just be aware that it's not a the art is not made for the tarot, but I love this, and it's only my only fairy tale deck so far, but I don't mind. I love it very much. And oh, dropped another card, as I said will happen. Yeah, so this is the Rackham Tarot for the House of Pleasure and Joy, which I explored childish, or not childish, childlike pleasure. And next one is the House of Health. And what deck do you use for physical health? And I don't use a tarot for physical health readings, But my research, I found out it's also a house of routines and how you nourish yourself. And for this, I picked the Ancient Tarot de Marseille, because for this I would need a deck with no distractions and clear messages and short messages and to-the-point messages, so that I get not distracted so much. And it's my only Marseille deck I have, because I'm just learning, but I'm more drawn to Marseille at the moment than to the Rider-Waite. I don't know what it is. And yeah, I love the colors. It has more blues than greens like the other Marseille decks. And I love the blue hairs. I'm not sure if this is intentional, because I'm not that far into the study, but I will check it definitely. Yeah, this is a deck I would use for kind of physical health issues or routines. A deck that kicks me in the butt. Yeah. And this is one I really love because of the colors. Yeah. So that was a short one. Yeah. I just lost my thought. But this is the deck I would use for physical health issues. And it has just a plain bag, but it's quite a nice deck. It's fun to work with. And for a quick detour, for my Marseille study, I will keep only one deck or buy no further Marseille decks till I know the system, because when I learned with the Rider-Waite deck, I was overwhelmed by the variety of decks I had, and every deck has its own language, and so the meanings were not quite the same, so I struggled a lot with that, and I would recommend to start with only one deck if you learn the new system. So that's how I would do it if I could start over. Okay, so the next house, am I screaming? It feels like I'm screaming, so sorry if this is a little too loud. So the next house is House of Relationships. Which deck do you use for one-on-one relationships? And I thought for this a long time, because I normally don't read on one-on-one relationships, because I like to sort these things out of tarot. But I found the deck I would use, and it surprised me a lot because I haven't worked with it yet. And this is the True Black Tarot. I've got this, I don't know, years ago, and I never worked with it because it felt so special and precious, and I didn't want to bend the cards. You know, it's really sturdy cardstock, and you can't really shuffle it well. So it was just a novelty deck for me for quite a while now. And recently I started a new journal where I wanted to reconnect with decks, and this one was part of it as well. Look at this chunky deck. It was part of it as well. And I thought, wow, you really can work with this actually, because the images are great. And this is also an artist deck. And why I chose this for the one-on-one readings is because it's precious. A precious deck for me. It's special and intimate, because I think it's because of the black backgrounds. And this is how one-on-one relationships are supposed to be, or should be. At least that's what I want from them. So yeah, that's why I chose the True Black Tarot for the one-on-one relationships. And it's quite nurturing as well, and you get a lot of answers from it, and it's just how the one-on-one relationships for me should work in this sense. So I'm excited to use this actually and try it, to see how it would work this way. So again, a thank you to Kyra to make me think about the decks I have and how I could use them actually, because I struggle with this a lot, to have this many decks in my collection which I didn't use quite often. So thank you for that. I will be enjoying working with this. And the next house is the on the page I found it says House of Sex and Death, and it's also life and death and transformation and growth. Kyra said what deck they use to explore grief, but I would actually say what deck do you use for transformation or these kind of issues. And this is the one I use mostly for that, and this is the Nameless One Tarot and Oracle. Now this was quite the journey to get. I waited for it almost 2 years, but I recovered. I recovered from that. And I just love the art. So it's a bigger deck and has also the black backgrounds. And on each card you can see a sigil for it. So you can work with this. And as you see, it has death. So this is actually the death card. And I just love the artwork. I'm normally not a animal deck user, but I love Alexandria's art so much. And it's a really beautiful deck art-wise, and also from the messages. So I got the big grimoire with it, and how she explains why she chose the images and the symbols and the colors. It's quite what's the word, interesting and fascinating to see. Okay guys, sorry if the angle of the camera is different now. I had to readjust and delete some files because the space was full on my phone, because I'm filming this on my phone, so there was not enough space to store the videos, so I had to delete some files. But now here we are back, and as I said, this is the Nameless One Tarot, and I cherish it very, very much. I use it for magical workings, for sigil magic, for daily affirmations, and yeah, I love it very much. Let me know if you wanted to have a flip through or walk through and a little bit a deep dive with it to know how to recognize the cards. Yeah, if you would be interested in that, please let me know down below and I will make a video for it. Just love this. It's a pretty deck. Really pretty deck. Especially I love the star card and the moon. Really pretty, really pretty. Yeah, anyways, before I start rambling, which I probably did the whole video anyway, let's get onto the next house. So the next house is a house of spirituality, and it says what deck do you use to grow your spiritual personal philosophy. And for this I selected the Lilith Tarot because it's an awesome deck, and it draws me in and gives me quite deep readings. And the cards have the perfect size and perfect backings, or not perfect, but I love them. Look how colorful. And I'm not that into much color, so that means something. And the cards are this size, so it's a little bit smaller than the tarot. Where do I have a standard tarot size? Here. So you can see a little bit smaller. But yeah, so I chose this deck because it pushes me, and asks me to think deeper, because there are no extensive meanings in the little white book. So it's only keywords and a little bit of meaning, but it makes me think, and the cards and the interpretations of the art are so open, so there are many different ways you could read this. And what I like about it is as well the guidebook, because on each card there are some symbols. And don't be afraid if you don't know all the symbols, for the planetary symbols, for example, or the elements, because it's all explained in the little white book, and in a way that it's accessible and that you can connect everything. And I struggle a lot with pulling in all. Oh, I love this card. And I love I struggled to combine astrology and color theory and elemental stuff to the tarot meanings, and this deck does that very good, actually. Look at the lovers just mingling and dancing around. I just love that. And also the green in the earth suit is just fabulous. And for the court cards you have this little letter here, so this is the king, and for the queen you have a Q, strength. I don't know how to explain this deck. When I first opened it, so here you see the queen, pretty. And yeah, so when I first opened it, I thought, oh, okay, no, another deck I can use. But it grew on me, and after a few days I couldn't put it down and used it all the time, so I haven't put it away since I got it. And it's a special deck for me. I love the watercolor vibes and the colors, as I said. Yeah, the only thing I would change is probably the blue in the cups suit is not my favorite, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I just love this deck. I really love it. Look at the Hierophant. It's just great with the little angels. Okay, so this deck I use for personal philosophy and spirituality, and yeah, because it makes me think about myself and everything more on a deeper level, and that's why I chose this. So here, for example, is the Justice card. You have all the little symbols which are explained in the white book. So it's a really accessible deck, and it feels good to hold. Yeah, that's my deck for House of Spirituality. So then number 10 and 11. These two houses had been the difficult for me to choose, because I don't use this kind of readings, or I don't do them. And house 10 is a house of ambition. What deck do you use to look at your life's work? And I thought for a while about it, and I wanted to choose the Rider-Waite deck because it's earthy and grounded, and you could use for material readings or work-related readings. But then I looked through my decks and I found one that has even a better use for it, and it's the Ancestry Tarot, and this is the little travel edition, and it's perfect for ambition and passion and work-related readings, which surprised me because you wouldn't think of it actually that way. But it gives really great readings related to work and passion and ambition and what you bring to the world, basically. Because as you see, the people are quite transferable to the real world sometimes. So I think it's a really good deck to look into ambition, passion, and work, and what do you want to achieve. And it also is a very how do you say, it hides nothing and is really very direct. You see, I love this. Yeah, So I use this deck for work readings. What do I want to achieve? Maybe what is lacking? What do I need to get more into it? Yeah, I really love this deck. The cardstock is great and it shuffles pretty because it's so small. I thought about getting the standard size one, but I'm not sure if I would use then a little one. So we will see. Let's be honest, I probably will get it in the future someday. So now house 11, as I said, this one was particularly difficult because it's the house of friendship. And I don't have big friendship groups. I have one-on-one friendships. And for that, this was also the house of relationships. When I would do readings about friends or community, I didn't know how actually I would do that, so I found a loophole while I chose this deck, and the deck is the 4 Hexa Tarot, because I want to be friends with the fairies inside and the creatures and the mermaids, even though I know that's not how fairies energy work as well. So I just love the images. And it feels like a community, and I want to be friends with them and bond with them. And I think they could give great advice about friendships or community issues, or just to journal with it about these matters, because that's how I use it at the moment for path working. And I think it's perfect for that. And due to the fact that they feel like friends, or I'm bonding with them at the moment, that they become my friends, I would say that's a good deck for a friendship kind of community related issue. Maybe I got this totally wrong, I don't know. But that's how I feel about this house and this deck in particular. The artwork is just stunning. Love this card. Love this card. I love all the cards. And this is also a deck I just love to flip through. Look at the ferry going into the city. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This one, 5 of air, calling the dragons. Brilliant. Yeah, so okay, that would be my deck for community issues and friendship and groups, because they feel like a community and not human like. So maybe that's with this issue as well, I can separate the issue a little bit more to get clearer readings, and I think that would give pretty good advice actually. So yeah, that's the 4 Hexa Tarot for house number 11. So, and now last house is house for mental health. She said, what deck do you use for mental health? And this one is new as well. And the one I would use for mental health, and which is new, is the El Goliath. So these are the bags, the beautiful bags. Is the El Goliath, because it's designed for shadow work. And the images are so powerful. You get so much from them in the guidebook as well. So I haven't done really deep shadow work. I did some in the past, and but not. I didn't put the work in really. So I hope with this deck I can dive deep into this topic and into my psyche and shadows and work with them. Oh, this one made me almost cry. So I did a walkthrough on this, which will come on Wednesday, and I cried. Okay, I cried a little bit, but you can probably hear it, because the message and the cards are just so powerful, and I can't wait to start working with it. I ordered a journal for it, but it's not yet around. It should come today actually, when I think about it. But yeah, as soon as I get the journal in, I will start to plan how I want to work with this deck and do the shadow work with them. And also I think this would pair really great with the Reclaim Oracle, which is also great for shadow work, and I've used quite a bit now. So I'm excited for this. Yeah, so that's the deck for the mental health issues. Or the sorry, or the hidden and secret things. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, almost dropped it. So yeah, let me see if I forgot anything. But no, I think I have said everything I wanted to. And I wanted to thank Kyra again for making this tag and force me to actually go through my collection and use it and not use only 1 or 2 decks. And I'm excited to dive deep into them now and actually work with them more, because while I was looking through them to decide in which house they go, I kind of reconnect with some of them, and I'm excited to work with them now. And so for that, thank you. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, thank you. And I will see you in the comments. So have a nice day. Bye.